A very good morning to you. Welcome to the 16th day of March 2026. So good to have you this morning. This is Morning Coffee. How hot is your coffee this morning?
Yeah, it's simmering, I can see. And I'm glad that you're joining us today. You had a restorative night, I guess, and you are ready for the week that the good Lord has afforded us. A restorative night it was for me.
Was it?
Glad that, yes, that there's a new day. And dreams. Do your dreams make sense?
They do.
They do?
They
Hey,
do.
okay.
Fun fact, if I dream that
You're the first person I'm actually hearing about dreams that make sense.
Mine do make sense. Actually, when I dream about something, most of the time it comes to pass. When I dream about people, if I dream that Dibal is sick, best believe you are sick. Yes.
Wow, what a gift.
It is.
I wish I had that
I really
gift.
like that question.
Because I normally just, the dreams that I have, but I always dream that I'm flying. Really? Seriously?
That's crazy.
I'm aerial, I can see the bird's eye view of the world.
Always.
Always, always.
You're being for real right now?
No, I'm being for real. And it's happened since I was actually in high school. This dream has always been persistent. Even now that I'm a full-grown old man, still it's very persistent.
Yeah.
And I wonder, what does it mean that, you know,
always
I don't have wings, but, you know, I can levitate, I can go to the sky like a Superman, I can actually just see the aerial view of what is happening around me, I fly, and I feel like, you know, I have all these otherworldly powers.
That's actually a good dream.
But sometimes, you know, the wind, you know, I can't control where I want to go. I want to, you know, veer this way at times.
Yes.
But I find it also drifting and going away.
Wow.
So at times I could find myself, you know, you're getting a panoramic view of the Ushago area that you are. Then another time I'm in the city. I've always wondered, maybe you're the dream interpreter.
Yeah. You know, that's
like
actually
the
a good
gift
dream.
of Joseph
It's better,
and Daniel.
It's better than people who dream that they're falling into a ditch. You've had people get such dreams?
Yes.
That's better. Because now maybe you're a high achiever.
Oh, yeah, could be.
Maybe you're a high
But at times
achiever.
also I dream that I've gone back to school.
That is bad.
Oh, really?
Now
what is
that,
this?
Now that
What
one is... That one is
No.
bad.
You dream interpreters also sometimes, and I know most of the Kenyans also sometimes they have. And I wondered, I thought I got done with this thing. What am I doing in Form 2?
Let me tell you, that one is bad.
Yes.
That one, I'll when the cameras go, I'll tell you what that means.
Before you go, even director is reminding me there's another dream. And it has happened to me. I can actually say, and I know I can speak to most of Kenyans, when you believe you're in the loo, and you want to relieve yourself, and I tell you, it is the only thing that happens there and then, and it is the longest, you know, loo call that you have.
Has it happened as an adult to you? As an adult?
As an adult, yeah, it has happened. Yeah, I can actually say it has happened. Yeah, why are you getting shocked when I was in high school, though? So you wake up and find, oh my goodness, what have I done? Yeah. So at times, I think, especially with this shift, this early shift, and I know most people wake up very early, you know, sometimes. On the weekends, because when you wake up, you know, your circadian rhythm tells you that it is time to go. You always rush to the loo. So when you sleep over during the weekend, your mind is woken up, your system is up, and you're still in bed. You've not woken up at 3 a.m., right? What happens? Okay, I'm surprised that it doesn't. But if it hasn't,
oh my goodness.
It is coming one day.
I'm judging you. I'm judging you, Ashley, now. And that was so random. How did we get to the dreams? That was so random. It's International Teach Music Day. Funny enough, Dibal is a musician na huwa anaringa. Dibal, every time I tell you, please sing for us. It's International Teach Music Week. This week, at least do something for us on the show. At least tell me, Odida, do your vocals like this.
Yeah. You know, you've brought about, I think, will we do peppers today? Hey, now that you've excited me, let me tell you, music is very key. And I think people who don't recognize the power of music, especially in our curricula, they're missing out. When you have your kids from 0 to around 14 years, it is very important for the cognitive development of your children. it is the only tool, yeah? It is the only powerful tool that can connect your right hemisphere and your left hemisphere at the same time. And people who are actually inclining to music are known to be very intelligent.
Ooh.
Music is powerful in the cognitive, I repeat, development of your children.
Wow.
Let's encourage, I will encourage you mostly. Please, if you've not taken music seriously, like we did also in our curricula, I don't know if they still have it.
It is there.
Right?
It is there.
And they should give it more emphasis. You know, it will help your kids in developing other, life skills like discipline, like, broaden your understand creativity. It will stimulate even for oratorio skills of a kid.
Yes.
It's very important. So it's good that you've reminded Kenyans about it.
We are getting into the depth of it this week. International Teach Music Week. I have Dibal here. So by the end of this week, I'm hoping to be able to sing a little bit, to shake my voice a little bit. But on the State of the Nation today, the question you're asking you this morning, now that if we do not ask that question,
we will deviate.
The question you're asking you this morning is, as UDA and ODM discuss the 2027 running mate slot, where do Kenyan youth fit in? As UDA and ODM discuss the 2027 running mate slot, where do Kenyan youth fit in? WhatsApp number is 0793267279. Use the hashtag Morning Cafe TV47. Dibala, as UDA and the ODM discuss. Let's have it again, Director. Let's have the question of the day again. As UDA and ODM discuss the 2027 running mate slot, where do Kenyan youth fit in? Where do you think the Kenyan youth fit in this whole debate about the running mate politics every day, 50-50?
Well, it's out there in the gallery, so to speak, because you can already see where everyone is really gagging for. It is about our region, it is about our people, and they have names at the end of the day. And I think that will be the greatest, political negotiating tool moving forward, right? Who will bring the numbers? And if you bring the numbers, then this slot it's a highly contested slot. So the youth, we never know. Right now that we have all this chess pieces are falling into place. We have youthful faces who are coming now to the fore. People are saying if this particular personality moves to this particular, political faction, then it seems that will be up for grabs for him because he will bring a particular slot of the youthful voices and the youthful votes to that particular faction. You've had Edwin Sifuna signaling that, we are open to discussing and negotiating with people of like-mindedness into a fora. So that is open to us as well. We've heard also Rigathi Gachagua or giving the proffering hand to Edwin Sifuna to join that particular alternative government, united opposition or united alternative government, as it were. So the question is, if he goes there, will they also give a slot to him, right? Will people say, no, look at him, he's a Johnny-come-lately. We guys have been here. We are so backed into the system. Why would we give it to a newcomer? But of what consequential political impact do you also bring? The impact factor that you bring to the politics and on the table, that really matters. Does he have the weight, the political impact and the factor right now to be given that particular slot? Well, people have been saying, hey, why can't you just tuck off and run with the presidency ticket? We'll all be rallying behind you. So it's a very interesting debate.
All right. Who are you having at the State of the Nation?
Yes, we'll be having with us Kipruto Arap Kirwa. He will be here this morning. And also, we were to be joined by Dr. Catherine Ombaka, but that seems will not be happening this morning because... Oh, Dr. Makali Mulu is with us there, it is always in my mind, Kipruto Arap Kirwa.
Every Monday.
Right? All right, Dr. Makali Mulu is there with us as well, Pikitui Central, and also Titus Lote, who is a MP Kachaliba will be joining us as well. And you can see the unflappable smile there of Dr. Christine Ombaka. But unfortunately, she'll not be joining us today. She's a woman rep CIA. Will have been also nice to have her. But she's excused this morning because of an avoidable circumstance that, just has occurred. And so we're eagerly waiting to see if we'll be joined by her, with her next week on the forum.
All right. Let's take a look at the state of the weather. Right, Machakos this morning, it's 14 degrees. It's a mostly cloudy day today. Highs of 25 degrees expected in Machakos. Nyeri is also cloudy today and it's 12 degrees this morning. Highs of 25 degrees expected in Nyeri today. Isiolo is 19 degrees this morning. It's a mostly cloudy day. Highs of 31 degrees throughout the day today. We take a look at other areas. Kericho, it's a mostly cloudy day. It's 13 degrees this morning, highs of 27 degrees. It's mostly cloudy day as well in Busia County, highs of 31 degrees today. It's 18 degrees this morning. And in Nairobi, it's a mostly cloudy day as well. The cold season is going. It's 14 degrees this morning and highs of 26 degrees expected in the capital city today. You said it was flooding, even this. Was it the day before yesterday? Was it on Friday? Yes. Friday this week was also flooding in some parts of Nairobi.
Yeah, I saw a clip there of the expressway and I was wondering,
yes,
where did the rain come? So people are asking, it didn't really pour that much.
Yeah.
But what people don't understand is sometimes, it pours somewhere else and the water, the torrent really comes through the rivers, even when we don't have rains here. This is what really surprised guys at Gogan, right? The other day there at the Globe Embassy cinema. That is what really happened that day. So just, a torrent of it that is just flooding that morning or that day, that in the evening when people were just, closing up shop and wondering what is happening. What is happening? So it can occur anytime. Be prepared.
Anytime. All right, that's the state of the weather. Let's come back and take a look at the quote of the day.
Always do your best. What you plant now, you will harvest later.
All right, let's take a look at the dailies now. And to start off with the Daily Nation, how fraudsters run public service. That's the main story on the front page of the Daily Nation this morning. And they say that official investigations continue to expose how many Kenyans, either out of desperation or greed, are cheating their way into the civil service with fake academic papers. Even more worrying is that some of these officers, with bogus credentials are rising to leadership positions in state agencies. Such charge, the Anti-Graft Agency has recovered millions of shillings from convicted officers. It says that a 2023 report by the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, a state agency that vets academic certificates, found that nearly 250,000 civil servants had fake certificates. Out of the 28,000 cases forwarded to the National Examination Council by 91 public institutions, at least 1,280 certificates were confirmed to be forgeries. State corporations accounted for about 70% of the forgeries, and another 787 public offices out of a total of 29,000 across 195 ministries, departments and agencies who underwent authentication were found to have secured employment, promotion and redeployment using fake documents. This is not the first time we're seeing such a story. Looks like it's something that is still ailing the public service sector, that fraudsters are running public service with fake documents. That as long as you do some ukarabati somehow to your certificates, 1, 2, 3, to your, say, to your university certificate, and then to your high school certificate, then you can get a job in the public service, as long as you know how to do it. That is what the story is talking about. Because if we're looking at a very big number here, 250,000 civil servants who had fake certificates. 250,000 is a very big number.
That's a huge eye-popping figure there.
It is. This story has been covered on page 4 and 5. Maybe really there's something that needs to be done now, because we've been talking about this time and time again. It looks like whoever is supposed to take action is not doing what they're supposed to do. Yeah. So.
Indeed, and I've always, I think we had this particular discussion last week,
yes,
where we were questioning, is this also within the remit of the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, that all the certificates should be, passing through to sieve them and try and scrutinize them, just some forensic audit, because some of them, they're running through or they're being printed here at River Road, and they actually, the real, can I say, it just looks like the spitting image of the original.
Yeah.
You can't really tell unless you have a forensic audit, to try and analyze and see whether this is actually a fake certificate. That's what they're doing. So I wonder if that is the right authority to carry out investigations, because I think this is unfair.
Yeah.
But we've seen the court sometimes taking people who have committed this offense and crime and finding them, and you have to backdate the salaries that you've been paid to pay back to the company that you've been stealing from, because this is thievery.
It is.
Yeah, this is thievery.
It is. And actually the interesting part today is that we have a list of shame. The names have been mentioned right here on the inside pages. Page 4, they're all here, and you've mentioned something about the courts are now doing something about it. There's one, Felix Ojwang Balamu, is an employee of the Nairobi City Water and Sewage Company.
Okay, let's just...
He was fined a total of 8.5 million shillings.
8.5 million shillings. How long had he worked there? What's indicated?
It's not mentioned, but they say he was found guilty of using a forged KCSE certificate to secure employment. KCSE certificate. Now imagine if you're found...
Let's mention them.
Yes.
Yeah, quickly, because this is a huge... There are people who have qualified for these positions, but they are not getting jobs yet. There are people who have not worked hard in school, and yet they're sitting pretty in some of his offices, right? Caroline Sabiri Manyange.
Stand up.
You're a manager for boundaries delimitation, actually at IABC.
Imagine.
Arrested and arraigned over forged Masters of Arts, Population Studies.
Wow.
Degree certificate. Caroline Sabiri Manyange.
Congratulations.
Right? You, of course, been listed here in the list of shame. Charles Ekai Erukundi used a fake Bachelor's of Science in Information Technology degree to land the role of Deputy Director, Resource Mobilization in Turkana County Government. Also, you've been mentioned here. Kenneth Kiplangat Tonui used forged Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education to secure employment at the Independent Electors and Boundaries Commission. There's something at the HR of IBC that needs to be scrutinized as well. Joseph Kihara Kaburungu, a sports supervisor at the Nairobi City Water and Sewerage Company, forged a diploma certificate in sports science management from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. Those certificates are meant to be serialized, right? Okay, we have Stacy Mwikali Mbati, ICT officer at the Nairobi City Water and Sewage Company, who used a forged Bachelor of Information Technology degree, which she falsely claimed was issued by JKOET. Felix Ojwang Balamu.
That one. That one.
You want to read that out?
That one.
Yeah, that one is what you read?
Yes.
And then we have Dennis Thuo Kimani, forged his academic certificate to secure a job at the Supply Chain Management Officer at the Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation. Supply chain is where it is my forte as well. And I trained very hard, actually, to be also a member of the Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply. It is not a mean fate that you can just, swing into it like with fake certificate.
Yes.
Oh my God. You
hard.
fail, you do your receipts until you get, your professional certificate at the end of the day. That is Dennis Tuo Kimani. Halkano Dabasus forged a diploma in community development and social work and a KCAC certificate from the NEC.
Wow.
Hey. Eunice Ngima Gashugi. Still, you're a supply chain management officer at REREC, forged an academic certificate to secure employment at the agency. Still on supply chain.
Yes.
I wonder, we have the Kenya Institute of Supply Management. How then did she also become a member? Did they scrutinize a certificate? Jefferson Kimemia Minor, employee of REREC.
REREC is notorious.
REREC and IBC. We need to maybe to retool you again. The HR of REREC and IBC. If these are, no wonder maybe we have cases. At least I didn't see anyone in the supply management in IBC. We've had any issues to do with the procurement processes that are being floated. When you're talking about propriety, process propriety. Do you follow the main requirements, procurement rules that is there at the end of the day? And we can see all this has been happening with the mathematics, So they wait until the close of time, when things are really dire, that, because of concert, we didn't have any lead time. We had to just have to single source. Of course, that is allowable when, you don't have any time for making sure that you can actually put out the biddings as well.
All right, that is the list of fraudsters this morning.
Fraudsters, and that is just a bit of it.
They've taken our time because they're fraudsters.
But it is good for Kenyans to know. If your friend is in IBC, and we've mentioned those names as well,
tell them to style up.
Tell them to repent for the good Lord to forgive them, because that is thievery.
Absolutely. That story about floods, it has been covered on the top strip, page 2 and 3. Floods wreak havoc again. Yes. Poll dispute inside the 2007 state operation to keep Kibaki in State House is a special feature on page 12. And that's the Daily Nation this morning. You have the...
we have a Standard up next, which is headlining Under Fire as a splash today. And you have the face of the Chief Justice there, Martha Koome, captured bench. That's the question that we have as a kicker there. The judiciary, once hailed as fiercely independent after the enactment of 2010 Constitution, now found itself at a crossroads as critics accuse it of increasingly bending to the whims of the executive. A pattern of controversial rulings, ignored court orders and the transfer of judges whose decision rattled the state is raising fears that the presidency is tightening its grip on the courts. That is what we have there. And we have Patricia Buyeshe Angaya, right, who's a legal scholar at Kabrak University. She says that when a judge is transferred before delivering a judgment, the succeeding magistrate or judge must often start the case anew. A principle known as de novo. This resolution in delayed justice for litigation This results in delayed justice for litigants who may have been waiting for years for a resolution. De novo, right? At least I have a new word there in my English vocabulary. Though this is, they say, it is it Latin? Or it should be. Yes, still on the Standard, you want to also read about the APRO as the Shah dishes jobs to only 2 tribes. When you're talking about inclusivity, we had a NADCO report there. We have different factions who say, we don't really have the face of Kenya. So 2 tribes, who are they? Of the 116 shortlisted candidates, 61 are drawn from Somali and Kalenjin communities. Somali. We know who is the cabinet secretary there. Some communities, including the Teso, Samburu, and Maasai, did not appear on the short list. That's on page 2 of the Standard today. And
the CEO is also Somali, CEO Shah. You know him? The CEO Shah, I've forgotten his name, but Mohammed somebody is his name.
I thought it was, what is her name again? Mwangangi. She's not Mwangangi, Shah?
Let's just confirm.
Okay, it is Mwangangi, unless
it
maybe
she...
Right, as you're looking up for that, we have page 10 of the Standard Sifuna 2027 dilemma, run alone or create an alliance with Gachagua, what we were just discussing. The decision on which way his Linda Mwananchi faction will go is what will make or break him. The opposing headline of positions by some members on how to relate with the former deputy president. All that's spread there on page 10 is what you want to read. Final fallout, ODM faction to hold 2 parallel conventions as well. That is on page 10, a sidebar story there. A showdown is looming in ODM after a faction allied to party secretary. Right, that is the Standard.
All right, just to clarify, Shah chairperson, CEO rather, is actually Dr. Mwangangi. The one I was talking about is the board chairperson, Abdi Mohamed, the board chairperson, right. Taifa Leo, Kenya ni mateka, upinzani anasema pambano kwamba viongozi wa upinzani wadai kuwa viongozi wenye ushawishi wanatumia mamlaka yao kunyakua mali za watu binafsi, mashirika yenye faida na hata biashara za umma kwa manufaa yao kibinafsi. Habari kamili katika ukurasa wa pili. Gachagua, Kalonzo na Wamali wadai watu wenye mamlaka wameteka taasisi na sekta muhimu za uchumi. Vidokezo zaidi, Arsenal karibu kuvunja mkosi, Man U yang'aa. Kikosi cha Teta chapanua pengo hadi alama 9 kileleni, ligi ikisalia na mechi 7 pekee kukamilika. Arsenal on top of the table. Mbai aeleza tukio la kura tata la mwaka 2007. Mvua ya laana yazidi kutesa nchi ni habari nyingine katika ukurasa wa pili. Na kule juu, Trump aomba msaada kupiga Iran. Ayasihi mataifa rafiki kumsaidia kuzuia Iran kutatiza usafiri wa Hormuz. Na Ruto aingilia mzozo wa Joho na UDA. Ahimiza wafuasi wa UDA eneo la Pwani kukomesha uhasama na kukumbatia umoja. Gazeti la Taifa Leo.
Right, we could check up the Business Daily. Kenya avoids IMF loans after Eurobond stake sells. Is what is a splash today. Safaricom, Kenya Pipeline IPO deals boost coffers. IMF team expect another round of talks in April. That story, you can follow it on page 2 of the Business Daily this morning. And also, shareholder fights Rock Credit Bank on Nyachai ties. That story, you have it also on page 2 of the publication today. On the ticker, just to prime you, we have 785 companies exit NSSF in 2 years as operation cost bites. And also KCB books 3.1 billion shillings gain from sales of National Bank. And Unity Trust investor crossed the 3 million shillings on page 14 of the Business Daily. Pick up your copy to get all the wiser as far as biashara is concerned.
All right, the Star this morning talks about Tanzanian tycoons pour billions into Kenyan businesses. Rostam Azizi recently acquired controlling stake in Nation Media Group. The story is still hitting headlines since last week. It's what they're talking about on the inside pages of the Star this morning on page 4 and 5. Other quick headlines here. This year's rally edition shifts fully to the Great Rift Valley. That's the safari rally. We see there President William Ruto gifting the winner. This is Takamoto Katsutsa, a Japanese driver who, of course, won the safari rally that culminated yesterday.
Right, he wanted the fire. He's a Takamoto guy, and he scoped it. I mean, he was on fire. And we watched him burn.
All right, on the top strip, Sifuna team announces parallel NDC to counter Oburu-led convention. That's another story on page 12. That's the Star. Fresh, independent, different. What's the People Daily talking about this morning? It's bringing to light the conversation about NGCDF, that debate whether it should operate as it is, whether it should continue or not. If you could just have that on the screen. Yes, bursary scandal, there we have it. It's a shame of how
2.1 billion shillings.
You can see it?
Uncollected, right? That is what I could just see a snippet of it. That is a business daily, and of course that bursaries we know, a lot of scandal has been circulating around it. We don't need to belabor the point. You can grab up a copy of business daily.
That story is on page 4. Says shame of how 2.1 billion shillings uncollected and presented in stale checks that could have fully sponsored over 18,500 learners went to waste. So basically they're saying that how that those bursaries distributed are not free and fair, that this has been politicized a lot. On the top strip, Naivasha traders push for Safari Rally hosting rights extension, and finally bench that decides how prepared is Supreme Court ahead of 2027 polls. Just tying to what the Standard is also talking about this morning, under fire.
Under fire.
The chief... Martha Koome is there on the top strip. Let's take a look at the caricatures now this morning. The Star is talking about what's happening at Kotu. Mtu amekwamilia hapo kiti. You see why I want presidential term limits removed?
The Star, I think we have the people daily, that is the Standard. We can just go on with the Standard, what is on air still.
Yes.
That is GAMS, as, and we know. Yeah, this is what you're talking about. Yeah. Still, the Star also has Kotu.
Yes.
And I think
the Standard
also, yes, as well.
Daily Nation also has Kotu as well.
Hey, what?
This is the Star, the one on the screen
that is
right
the Star.
now. Let's have the Daily Nation.
No, he's a permanent fixture.
Yes.
As you can see, he's actually the seat. Yeah.
He's a seat. If you come there, maybe you don't stand a chance.
I'm telling you, right? They've been here hanging by the fingernails,
yes.
Right? So they cannot go out.
Yes,
also
the
it is
Nation.
Power. Who has the power? How to get another term, right? And you can see that looks like someone that we do know who is actually, you know, going through the pages of the power book, how to maintain power. How do you do it for all these years?
They're benchmarking from Atuoli.
Yes, I'm telling you. He's now the yardstick.
All right. Finally, People Daily, Star no stake. That conversation about NTSA fines still continuing, but somebody is saying here, well, if the cameras were made in Kenya, then the manual must have been written in the language called Toa ya Macho. Beware, NTSA speed cameras, 50 kilometers per hour. Hey, Toa ya Macho ni kama imetetemesha hapo. That's Star no stake, People Daily.
We cross the borders now?
Just quickly.
All right, we cross the borders. We just begin with the Daily Monitor. We have Mwananchi. Let me just go with the Mwananchi, which is on. Okay, all right. The director is taking me back to the Daily Monitor. Best schools per subject is what is on the front page of the Daily Monitor, and you can see the faces of them that really performed well. This is like our KCAC that we always celebrate. So the best schools are all here, and you also made a shift. NINS to replace teens business registration numbers. That is a Daily Monitor. All right, we have the Vision as well. USCE, top performing schools per region as well. That is all about academia. And we can go now to
Tanzania.
All the Citizen as well. And we have commuter bus e-ticketing on the cards countrywide. That is a splash. Also, let's see what we do have on Mwananchi, Tanzania. Itakavyo adhirika bei ya mafuta gesi ikipaa. That is a splash on the front page of the Mwananchi. And that is your region. Also, we have the New Times in Rwanda. What business community expect from new PSF leaders as well. If my director may pick up that as well, what business community expect from new PSF leaders. That is what also we have in the New Times in Rwanda. And Marco Turgeliti is ATP Challenger 100 champion. All right?
All right. Once again, in the State of the Nation, you're hosting Dr. Makali Mulu, MP Kitui Central, and Titus Lote, MP Kache Liba. Let's take a look at the traffic situation in Nairobi this morning. All right, Ngong Road building up slowly, as we can see this morning. Actually, nothing to worry about Ngong Road, but there's something here. This is somewhere around, what is this called? This is the junction, Naivasha Road, Ngong Road, on your way to town, also building up slowly. There's already some snarl up there. We take a look at other areas on your way to town, other major tributaries. Gitanga Road looking good, nothing to worry about this morning. We see, nothing to worry about. Dennis Fritz Road is also good. Lenana Road good this morning, nothing to worry about. Monday traffic sio mbaya sana, but there's a trouble here. Kama kawaida, Muthaiga interchange, Muthaiga Road, this is it. As you can see, this is already a trouble this morning on your way to town, just right. This is Grogan area. We're seeing Ngara Road there, Chambers Road. This area is already trouble this morning. Ngara, as you can see, Muranga Road is already looking not so good this morning. Sasa kama unalala, know that you'll be getting late to work this morning. Muthaiga also looking not so good this morning. Going all the way back to Thika Road. This is, if you go way back, where is this? All right, going this area, this is on your way to Utalii Drift. There is also building up slowly. Not building up, it's actually a trouble spot. As you can see, it's already red. So this is how the traffic's looking this morning. On your way to town, terrain is also good. Nothing much to worry about this morning. Expect just a roundabout where the matatus are waiting for the people this morning. That's the traffic situation this morning. Keep interacting with us on our socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube, or next at TV47 Digital. My handle is at @Ann_Dida.
Adibala now.
The hashtag is Monica for TV47. Our WhatsApp number is 0793267279. See you after the break.
All right, we have, before we check out, somebody saying, morning champ, Salimia Ann. And I'm like, Sana, she knows.
Give them my number. Good morning to you, and you only.
Okay. All right, welcome back. It's time now to buckle down to discuss some of the issues that have been, of course, playing in the public gallery as far as the lay of the land of politics is concerned. And I'm joined right now by Dr. Makali Mulu, who is a member of Parliament, Kitui Central. Also joining us later will be Titus Lote, MP Kachaliber. Dr. Christine Ombaka was meant to be here, but apparently she will not make it this morning because of some unavoidable circumstances. So we also will excuse her, but we'll be hosting her probably next week, as it were. But we'll fly with the two, eagerly waiting to be joined by Titus Lote. Hope he's not slept through the alarm. I know sometimes this cold can make someone not really have the blanket victory, but we want to thank you as well for joining us. Conversation continues apace on online. We had a question of the day for you, and this is all just gravitating towards the political seat that has become very contentious right now as far as the party politics is concerned. Everyone is really vying for prominence in this particular debate and really seeking to know how will it be a negotiating tool. And we just want to remind you of that as well. But before we head there, let's see how it has been as far as the sound and sides is concerned, just to give you an inkling of what will be our discussion this morning.
Just the mere fact that now BAMBA passed on, there cannot then be the reason for Sifuna and Orengo and that Uhuru kind of cacophony of puppets to now try to run innuendos to try and defeat the very process that is supposed to be an ongoing process for the length of time until this matter is successfully concluded. And it's a bipartisanship process. The few times we met to discuss the progress of that committee, even when the late Raila Odinga was alive, Sifuna was not present. So you can then not cast aspersion of a process that you did not know how it was conceptualized, how it was actualized, and where it is headed, and where the objectives are.
There are some people who want to appoint themselves supervisors, as if we made the commitment to them. We did not make the commitment to them. We made the commitment to the people of Kenya.
I was made supervisor by my boss, Raila Amolo Odinga. If you want him to fire me as a supervisor, you talk to him. He's in Bondo.
Mimi niliona Kalonzo Musyoka pale mbele North amecamp hapo. Mimi nikasimama nikauliza watu ya mbele. Kiongozi anaitwa Kalonzo Musyoka amekuwa katika serikali miaka mingi. Mimi wakati nilikuwa primary school, nilikuwa nasoma Minister of Education, anaitwa Kalonzo Musyoka. Nikiwa primary school. Mimi nikasimama pale mbele North nikauliza watu ya mbele. Kalonzo amekuwa hapa wiki kama 3 mfululizo. Asimame atuelezee wakati alikuwa naibu wa rais, wakati alikuwa waziri katika serikali, ni mambo gani ambayo alitufanyia hapa kwetu mbele. Si kuekelewa hata jambo moja kwa mkono. Mnanielewa? Jameni, sio vitina, tunaongea ukweli. Siasa ya kutumia jamii ili ukae kwa viti bila maendeleo, bila kuonyesha kitu yoyote ambayo umefanyia wananchi. Hiyo siasa imepitwa na wakati. Ndugu yetu,
kiti ya naibu wa rais ukue kona gani ama gani ya nchi yetu ya Kenya, tunakwambia tukiwa kwa hii kona ya mlima, jameni, kiti ya naibu wa rais is not vacant, iko na mwenyewe, anaitwa Professor Kithure Kindiki, ndiye atakuwa naibu wa rais 2027 kuelekea mpaka 2032. Na ikifika pale tutakuwa tumejipanga sawa sawa. Hiyo ndio wakati mtanjua hata kona hii ya mlima iko na ndume, na sio mwingine ni Professor Kithure Kindiki akuwe rais wa taifa letu la Kenya.
You only compare likes with likes. I don't know why you are comparing UDA, a formidable party with solid structures and national credentials, with some other party formed by someone who has put the registration certificate in his pocket and is dishing out of party positions to his friends, relatives, and cronies. UDA does not play in that league. You can even see from the gentlemen here, This is a national party from Western Kenya, and this is just those who are around here. It was not designed that anybody would be here. Some are in the field. So that question, Apollo, is misplaced.
Well, you get to learn a lot, of course, also when it comes to coinages of words as well. We can learn about cacophonia, as it were, and we can learn also what is happening within the party and their leagues. So you're not really on my league. That is such a, a blow maybe to the Masikio party, right, that want to secure on the ground what is really happening on the ground. When we're talking about the political industrial complex as well, where most Kenyans sometimes they don't see what is happening behind the scenes, I tend to wonder, do they wake up early in the morning thinking about you, right? It is a very atavistic thing about the human nature that is so innate with us that I don't wake up thinking about my guest, Dr. Makale Mulu. I will think about myself, not Makale Mulu, first. Does anyone really carry the burden of seeing a transformed Kenya in their heart that is so genuine and sincere that you're not in this politics for your own benefit? Or our human interests really come into play as that at the end of the day? Even when we see the Messiah complex and people rising and the personality supporting them at the end of the day, do they have truly in the inner recesses of their hearts the interest of Kenyans to see that lives are changed? Poverty is alleviated, lives are lifted, education is transformed, and everyone is enjoying the share that we have, that God has put in this country within our boundaries, just as we always sing every day from our national anthem. And I want just to hear from Dr. Makale Mulu. Good to have you this morning. You look relaxed.
Thank you, Deba.
Yes?
Yeah.
You're on recess right now?
We are on recess.
I was just telling you, whenever I see you donning the jacket, I know it is serious business in the house with the committees. But right now,
yes,
you looked a bit refreshed and relaxed. You had a lovely weekend?
Yeah, a lovely weekend. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, we toured Muranga.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Constituency. So Saturday,
this time forth there was no tear gas.
No, this time there was no.
It was very peaceful. You prayed peacefully.
On Saturday I was in my county Kitui, so here I am, and thank you for hosting me this morning.
By the way, how is it happening with Kitui Central? With the floods, you guys are not really affected.
No, Kitui we are not affected by floods. Actually, the rains are quite good for us. People have planted, and now we are cultivating for the crops now, so that we thank God that in another 1 week or so, the official time for rains will be with us. Mm-hmm. So we see another opportunity to get good harvest. Mm-hmm. The last one was good for Kitui Central, not the rest of Kitui mm-hmm. County. Mm-hmm. So we hope we still get some good harvest this time again. And we thank God for that. But generally, Kitui is okay. The rest of Kitui is it was dry actually. We're having some challenges with food. So our people are still hoping to get some relief food mm-hmm. because there wasn't any harvest. But I always thank our people. You'll be surprised. The last rains failed mm-hmm. For most part of Kitui County. And if you go down there, you find people have prepared their farms, they are planting, and you ask yourself, these people are so resilient. Mm. They didn't get anything. They planted nothing even so now again they are on their farms planting. I really want to thank our people for that hard work because they never give up.
They never give up.
They never give up. I wish we had just permanent source of water. You'd be surprised what we can do to this country. Because it's rain-fed. We are relying on rain-fed agriculture or farming. And anytime the rains failed, we are in problems. But I can tell you for sure now, we hope the rains will do well. If they do well, we are there. Our people are very hardworking. That's one thing I can tell you for sure. And if we get it right in terms of water, we'll feed this nation. Yes.
Right, and we do pray that it persists.
Yes, that's our prayer.
We'll have also sunshine to make sure that we have an equal balance for maturation and good, of course, maturation of our crops. Yes, let's buckle down. You've heard about what was happening last week, especially with the UDA, ODM politics really coming into play, the cacophony that the Secretary General is talking about, the political seat that has become very hot, that is a deputy president's seat. You've heard also from the CS, Public Service, saying this will go for the long haul, even beyond the 2032. right? The likelihood of Kindiki bringing the president of East Kenya also is on the table for discussion. We've heard from the Linda Mwananchi, the NADCO report that was just unveiled last week, a lot of issues that really came into play as well. That is bound to be also a topic, but we can just slice on it a bit as well. But I can see we have already with us here in studio Titus joining us. So he's already, I can see his unflappable smile. Karibu, looking very doper in the morning here.
You're good.
Yeah, MV Kachaliba. Hey. Good to have you.
Good morning. How good to have you.
I thought you slept through the alarm. You know, I was just saying, hey.
I don't know. Huh? There was a lot of traffic jam on the road.
Traffic jam, yeah?
Yeah, I think because of the rain, so I don't know.
You know what they normally say, that when it rains here in the country, the roads, they contract.
Yeah.
They contract, they become a bit narrow.
Narrow, yeah, because the water takes a bit of it.
Right. Anyway, but a hearty welcome to you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're just catching up with Dr. Makali Mulu here, and he's priming me of how Kitui Central is happening, what is new there. Maybe just before we even buckle down to our discussion, we want to hear how our people of Kachaliba, they've not been swept away by the floods.
Well, thank you. I think for Kachaliba, we are happy when it rains.
Yes.
Because we come from an environment where we get very little rain. So when it rains, we really don't have a problem, because we're coming from an area where we cannot be able to reject rain in any way. So we are happy. We will ask God to continue doing it this way, so that we become wealthy as well, because rain is our wealth. When it rains, we get plenty of grass, and we get plenty of grass, we get our livestock becoming fat, so we can access the market and get a lot of money out of it. Yeah, so we're happy because of the rain.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, Titus Lotte is already here with us. We continue pace. Dr. Makali Mulu, yes, you've heard from that particular clip.
Yeah.
I don't know if also Lotte had the benefit of, but I'll just prime you and give you an inkling of what you're really discussing about, and you know it as well. Just the normal politics we've been having, the political seat of that the deputy president, it's highly contested right now. I wonder what you picked from that particular clip that we played, that was very prominent for you. We can just begin by
actually looking at what is our colleagues, the other leaders are saying, the BAO, you realize that we are two levels there. There's a national politics, and there's also the regional politics.
Yes.
When you look at the Secretary General UDA make his remarks, he is focusing more on the local politics, because you know what has happened is with ODM, with a broad-based government.
Yes.
ODM has come in, and when you look at the coastal region, the side of ODM, it was agreed that it was generally agreed that Hassan Joe, the minister, is the kingpin.
Yes.
So he has been calling the shots on the side of ODM. When you come to the other side, UDA, since Omar became the Secretary General, he's now been calling the shots the other side, the ODM, the UDA side. But more specifically, anytime you go to Kwale, you find that Kwale, as a county, they have agreed their kingpin is the Minister for Mining.
Yeah.
So you have three centers of power. Now, with a broad-based government, Joe has come out and he has said, I want to be a running mate. So that disorganizes the whole arrangement, because immediately he says he wants to be a running mate, and it looks like the ODM brigade is running behind him. And you know ODM has a number of MPs in the coastal region. And here is Omar, who has been positioning himself to take over the governorship of Mombasa. Behind him is Huda, and then elected leaders, very few. So with that, then he has to start coming out strongly to say that UDA is the party which has more, in terms of we were to rate them, is higher than ODM. So in that case, if the deputy position was to go to anybody, it should be going to someone who is coming from the UDA wing in the coastal region. And that's why you can see what they are saying about saying that you come in and it's like you want to destabilize us and all that. And you see more of this kind of politics as we move to the future. But now coming to what the deputy president is saying, you know, Dibao, it's unfortunate you can hear a leader at the level of DP saying a party is like a briefcase party. If you look at our constitution and the Political Parties Act, it is very clear what it takes to register a party. A party must have offices in more than at least 24 counties. A party must have that national representation. And unless you meet those minimum requirements, you can't be registered as a party. So it means any party which has been registered in Kenya as a political party has gone above the level of being a briefcase party. It has gone to a level where it is a national party because it must meet those requirements. And if it doesn't meet, by the way, the Register of Political Parties does monitoring. They do monitoring, regular monitoring, to see whether you still have offices in the regions, whether your national officials represent the face of Kenya. What is happening is another, although it appears like national war, it's still regional war. And that is the war between Rick G and DP Professor Kidiki, because you know the professor has been trying to push to see whether they can still assume the kingpin of Central Kenya, and I think over time it's proving to be very difficult for him. Mm-hmm. So you know, it's like he has been pushed by Rick G to the corner of the Mount Kenya East, and in that Mount Kenya East, Ricky seems also to be eating the small bit Ricky seems to hold there. You saw that last weekend we were in Meru, where we had go to campaign, and you could see the mobilization, which was mobilizing the goons to make sure that the visit will not succeed. And you ask yourself, in modern Kenya, where we all talk about democracy, why would you go to that extent to stop people from addressing Kenyans? Because if you are really confident of yourself, allow people to go talk what they want to say, and they can go home.
But allow me just to butt in and ask you.
Yes.
The issue regarding the party and the leadership and the industrial complex around just the party running and ownership and it being a business.
Yes.
Don't you think there's a modicum of truth that we've heard from the Deputy President that is being used? And you can allude to that fact. You know, even within ODM, this was it, especially when it comes to nomination, it is given to the highest bidder. It is not a matter of meritocracy or whoever, you know, has can fit that particular billing. It is you. What do you bring on the table that I can give you? Do you have enough money so that you can actually get a particular slot? So it is your money, it is your weight that really brings to bear on the table that will earn you that particular nomination set. Isn't that the truth?
To some extent, I agree with you, Dibao. But the question is, in Kenya as a country, where do we practice meritocracy?
That's what I'm saying.
Where do we practice it?
That's what I'm saying.
In the normal recruitment.
It is very unlikely for you to say, okay, we've met all these 24 officers, of which some of the parties that we are talking about, briefcase parties, we've not seen some of the officers you're talking about. Yeah, it could be maybe you're having a representation, but the structures are not.
By the way,
at the end of the day,
it is a requirement. You must have.
It is a requirement.
A fiscal office, you go there and find it.
But some of these parties that we know that are registered, some of them we've never, unless Titus can tell us. Yeah, we don't want to mention parties here. But,
no, we don't want to mention. But I'm telling you, that is a requirement. That's the law. And you will not be registered unless you meet that requirement. Maybe what happened is they might be playing the normal Kenyan tricks. Kenyans are very, they always play tricks that you go open 24 offices and once you are registered, you close them and move on. But I told you there's also regular monitoring.
Thank you.
Which is done by the...
All right, let's hear from Titus.
Well, thank you. For me, I think I'm one happy Kenyan today listening to the discussions that is taking place. Because for the first time, the minority communities like those that I'm coming from is actually looking at how the majority or the communities that form the majority in terms of population are trying to grip into power that is slipping out of them. For me, I'm very happy because for the first time, I think bringing in Deputy President regarding Professor Kindiki to replace Rigathi Gachagua from the Mount Kenya region is actually a blessing in disguise to the minority communities and people who will not have otherwise ascended to power. Why am I saying so? I'm saying so because for the first time, this block called the mountain, the Mount Kenya, is actually breaking. For the first time, it's breaking. And the reason why we actually seen that the war has been taken to the mountain, where Rigathi Gachagua is trying to control the entire mountain. And Kindiki is actually taking charge as well. I really do not believe that Kindiki is losing even the eastern part of the mountain. I strongly believe that he is also getting it. You can already see the mountain coming into pieces. And this is a blessing to the young, the small, and the minority communities. Because for us, we didn't have hope of ever becoming rulers in this country. But with the dissipation and the fragmentization of the bigger communities, then for the first time, we might see a minority from Tharaka becoming the president of this country. I will not want anybody to think that Kindiki, the deputy president, is a pushover. He is not. And I will not even imagine that the people of the mountain, the entire mountain, will hate Kindiki, whether from the east or from the west. They are those that will follow him. So I don't think, as a minority, for the first time, I'm sad. I'm not sad. I think it is unfolding of the history of this country. From 1963, we have never actually had to break through. Any minority community will never have actually dreamt of becoming a leader in this country. But I think for the first time, for us even to say that Kindiki is going to be in the ballot after Ruto, basically tells you that there's hope for us.
Right, but the dynamics are really changing as you can see it. We have the Gen Z's voice that cannot be underestimated. We've had also previously seeing what some of the political arrangements were when it comes to choosing a running mate, that the women factor will be also a big influence. That was demonstrated by Azimio. Do you think there's a likelihood of this particular election, featuring a very youthful face as the deputy president? I know from the UDA side that is already decided, but it's very contentious as it is right now. We don't know if it's going to be still, as you say, a formidable stake that will still be maintained by Professor Kindiki Kithure. But we wonder what ODM also will really request or demand for that particular seat, if that will be very consequential from their end as well.
I think it's important. What you're saying is actually pointing to what I'm saying. I'm actually saying that the order that has been there from 1963 is breaking out.
It's breaking out.
We're actually seeing the mountain breaking. We are also seeing the Gen Z also breaking the ceiling and coming into the leadership position. We are also seeing the gender issue is being played. The youthful issue is being played. And so basically what I'm saying is that the field is being open to everybody. And so for me, coming from a minority community, I actually think I'm also getting an opportunity one day to see a minority leading this country, because all the other closed windows, the gender window, the youthful window, the minority community window, is all open. Everything is opening. And for us, I think it is the right political direction that we need to take as a country. Right. Otherwise, then, this country was captured by only 4 communities.
Indeed.
The main 4 communities. For us, some of us were just like, okay, who are we aligning to? But what is happening now? And I really want to say, Professor Kindiki, once he ascends into the presidency of this country, he will have opened the door for all other minority communities to rule.
Okay. All right. So now you're posturing and poising yourself as well to see that you have that political weight to go and garner for this particular seat.
We're very identified. You would not have believed that.
On the factor of a minority, huh?
Sure. You would not have believed that Obama was going to become the president of the United States based on the fact that he is a son of a migrant. But I think because of the political environment in the US, he was actually able to become president and re-elected. So I think that is why we are going. We might even get an Ndorobo, who are the very minority, coming to become presidents of this country. And when that happens, I'm telling you, we are going to kill most of the eels in this country. Because the eels in this country is always protected by the communities.
Indeed.
For example, if you want to, the people who are building structures here on the city, building on the waterways, when you want to touch that structure, the entire community protects this person. Oh, we are being targeted. And yet the structure is the structure that is actually diverting water to this community. If in Githurai, for example, water is sweeping people, because there is a big person from that community that has built on the waterway. These people, immediately the big structure is being brought down, they will forget the tribulations that they have gone through the water that has been diverted to their homes by this big one person. And they will say, we are being targeted. And so we have always protected goons. We have protected illegalities in this country based on community, based on our numbers. And the protection is, we will remove you because you are targeting us. So the numbers have always made politicians fear to take decisive actions on the basis that they are also protecting their votes. But if you get a minority as the president, or minority people ruling, these people will not have the majority protection in terms of numbers. And so they can be able to decisively make a decision without fearing the consequences. As per now, if you're a Kikuyu, I'm using those because these are main communities.
Yes.
The Kikuyu, the Kalenjin, the Luos, the Kambas. If Dr. Mulu here, for example, does something wrong because he's in the leadership, immediately we are going for him. The entire community will want to protect him. And any politician will fear to touch him because he's looking at the votes that is protecting him. But if he was a minority like me, if I do something wrong, people can come for me because my community don't have the muscle to protect me. And so we will be going for the big fish as soon as we get a minority ruling in this country. And I will ask Kenyans, if you want this country to continue well, it is time that we try a minority in the presidency. We have tried the majority all this time, and we've actually seen the problems that are coming with it. Can you try a minority community? And let us start from Kithure Kindiki, who's coming from Tharaka. Let's try with that. And then after which we can try with me. We can try with anybody else. And I think we're going to change the history of this country.
All right, but we can say that Tharaka also is it's become such a swing vote. We've seen what is done in 2007. We've seen, the Tharaka Nithi factor. So you can't really say that is such a minor factor. But this is orienting my thoughts towards you.
I am saying is a minority because if you look at the Pokot community, for example, and the Tharaka community, in terms of voting, the numbers of voters.
Number of votes.
So West Pokot County has got close to 300,000 voters. Tharaka has got less than that. And so when I say let us give Kindiki, if ethnicity is what we are looking at, then Tharaka is a minority.
I get it. Before you even go, because I think now that we have Titus really raising this issue of the dynamics around gender, youth, the minority, it is an open secret right now you're running for governorship of Kitui, right? And we wanted to know as well, is there any considerable factor coming to play from your end of having a running mate that is a youthful face or even a woman? Have you considered? Or maybe this is a secret that you don't want to reveal?
No, it's not a secret.
Yes.
You know, normally what happens, in any situation where you want a running mate, there are quite a number of factors which come into play. One of them is the issue of balancing your county. That, most counties, like it is very expansive. It's about 30,000 square kilometers and above. It's actually about 30.4.
That's huge.
So you can imagine that's very huge. So it means if I come from one side of the county, then it makes a lot of sense for the purpose of balancing the county, to have somebody also from the other side. And we have Kitui and Mwingi. So those are two areas, the regions. So that's one factor you can't ignore. The other factor is, after you do your preliminary campaigns, you will be able to identify which are my strongholds. And then you want somebody who can also add value to in terms of votes. So that the person you pick will come from an area where you think you are weak, and by bringing that person on board, then you can get more votes. Then there's also the issue of merit. There's something which Lotte has which is critical. The thing is, everybody you have your strengths and you have your weaknesses. Now, when I do a sort of analysis on myself, there are areas I would say these are the areas I think I'm a bit weak. I might not be able. So I would want somebody who will supplement my weaknesses so that there's a balance between my weaknesses and my strengths. So I would look at if my running mate who would come and say, for example, being an economist, that's a social scientist, would it be wise to bring somebody to you have a lot of resources, natural resources, somebody who is more knowledgeable on that other side, so that when we are a team, we can balance it. The other thing is the issue of gender. Like in most of the counties in this country, women are more than men in terms of voting bloc. So I would imagine by bringing a lady as my deputy, would I then be bringing also the woman vote into my basket? So there are these factors you consider. And then the young people. Generally, at national level, 70% of the voters are the young people, which means Kitui more likely is the same situation. So if I bring on a young person, will that person likely to also to add more votes? So these are things at the right time you'll have to sit down and consider, so that by the time you appoint somebody, then you know the person you're getting your running mate is somebody then you...
So you've not considered?
Not yet. You know, for now I'm just consolidating my now...
Because you've given me an analysis, just tells me you've not
I don't want to
considered.
cheat. I've not. What I'm
but it's so binary, you know, either it's a youthful face or it's a woman.
No, what I'm saying now, what I'm doing currently is first of all to consolidate myself as a person. Set the candidate of Makali Mulu as a... What will Makali Mulu as a governor candidate do for you? And what does he bring to the table? Then after, now people know this is now our governor candidate, is the person we're going to vote for. Then I will ask myself then, who can then supplement what I don't have? And that's the area now I consider these things. It's too early to start saying about a running mate currently, because we are still doing the mapping, the preliminary campaigns, and that takes time to bow. Otherwise, it will be very tricky to pick Leto now, and people will say, because if they say they don't want Leto, then I start doing service to myself. I must get, so you must be very careful. It's a very carefully crafted strategy that you push your candidature first.
So timing also is very key.
Very important.
When you're making this pronouncement, it might really work for you or work
against. Go against you totally. It can work against you or work for you. So that's why you also need to nataka kusikiza ground.
Uko na masikio pia.
Yeah, lazima uwe na masikio ground. But coming to what Reto was saying, I think he's making a very important point, and the challenge is now the timing. You know, what he's talking is an ideal situation where we are more on issue-based politics than the Kenyan politics. You know, Kenyan politics, we are yet not there. Where are we today as Kenyan politics? And you can use the 2022 elections as a good example of where we are. Where we are in a situation where currently the Kenyan politics is more informed in terms of regions and some tribal kind of orientation. Now, that being the case, and then you combine that with democracy, which demands that the majority will have their way. Now, when you go regional and tribal, then you have those blocks with those blocks of votes. For example, you talk about Central Kenya, they pride themselves having about 5 million votes. You talk to the Karenjin, they pride them with 3 million blocks. You come to us, we are talking about we have 2 million blocks, you see? So if that being the case, now, once we go regional, then it means there are very minimal chances of the minority assuming leadership in this country, because we will vote on those blocks. But now, it's moved to the future, and I think there was some attempt to that last year, but one, when the Gen Zs went against the finance bill. You know, it brought up some new dynamics into our politics, that we could actually have another block called Gen Zs, which has never existed. And this block called Gen Zs doesn't think regional. They don't think about where they come from. They think about their issues. So it means as we move to the future then, if we now come with another issue, if we build on the Gen Z's initiative and start bringing issues of merit, issue-based, anybody can become a president in this country. So more is a matter of what time frame are we talking about? Is it short term? Is it long term? And for me, from where I see it, I'm really very observant how 2027 will play. Because 2027 will also be a break or make elections. Why am I saying that? If the Gen Zs vote as a bloc without going back to their regions, then that would be a serious departure from our history. And that would now start laying the right foundation for even you, Dibao, irrespective of where you come from, becoming a president of this country, based on what you have on the table in terms of what manifesto do you give to Kenyans, and what are your strengths? Because I've seen that there's a lot of issues of trust when it comes to politics. So long as people can trust you and believe that with their leadership in your hands, they are safe, then you can become the president. But as at now, we are still in that situation where you think more regional blocks, tribal blocks, and that is our undoing. A
very interesting conversation also we were having on space, and some of the agencies were raising issues regarding, the suppression that has been there, even when we're touching about on the NADCO reports, the issue of protests and just the freedom of expression, that it has not been realized without a core thing within the NADCO report, as according to them. We see the apathy that has come to play as far as voter registration is concerned. IBC has been calling on the youthful. We wonder, I mean, you came out protesting, but now when you have that tool that will make that discernible difference when it comes to election, you're not picking it. The question of what they call the survival guilt, right? Or the survivor's guilt that came from the demonstration, because some of them were alluding to the fact, I know my two friends who died in this particular protest that we had, and one of them is now in Kenyatta National Hospital, for the longest time trying to recover just from the blowback that really came from the finance bill protest 2024. And they were saying, you see, we are traumatized, right, on what really happened when we saw our friends, floating in the quarry. We're traumatized. We wonder if we go and, put ourselves on the political front lines as it is right now, will we still get the same treatment? So there's a sort of suppression that really happened. And it occurred to me, maybe there is another healing that really needs to happen even with the Gen Zs as well, right? They are not as vocal as they were. And I know maybe their parents also have told them, hey, I know you have a right to do this, but seeing what has happened, the capturing that really, can you just go slow on it? And you've seen, it's been such a slow burn when it comes to the youthful voices. Is it something that maybe you can consider, even as we're heading towards a general election? How then do we heal this trauma? For me, it arose, there's a trauma here. We've not really considered why the voices that were very loud now, they've gone somewhat conspicuously silent. Titus?
Well, I think for every, there is something that is saying in Swahili that says, amani haiji ila kwa njia ya upanga. It basically means that for you to get peace, you have to go through some form of a destabilized or a fight. You have to go through a fight. If you look at the way Europe developed, there was a period where Europe was fighting. For them to reach where they had to break the ceiling. There was a lot of fighting. The revolutions, the French revolutions, and many others. The Americans had to fight for their independence in 1776. Kenya here, we have to fight for independence during the Mau Mau War, and I think that thing has actually worked in the world over. Jesus himself, the Son of God, had to fight and actually went through death for him to be able to bring salvation to the world. And so the trauma that we are talking about is part of the process, the healing process that we need to have as a nation, so that now out of that there's a new birth of a new order. So if the Gen Zs, and I strongly believe the Gen Zs were a very strong force, and you do not expect a strong force just to be accepted like that. There is going to be a resistance. For every action, there's going to be a reaction. And so the reaction was bigger than the action the Gen Zs created. The Gen Zs were able to go to the streets. We actually saw the impact even when they broke into parliament. But after that, Gen Z's momentum died because there was a reaction. And some of the reaction actually went with the Gen Zs. The Makaures and the likes actually went into the system. The Maraso Kabaso, they went in the system because they were not able to sustain that. And so for me, I'll say...
But why weren't they able to sustain that?
And that's why I'm saying...
Yeah, is it a blowback? Were they suppressed? We know even...
Yeah, they weren't suppressed. They did not have enough willpower to continue. Because for you to win...
But it will not be, of course, an accurate appraisement from you to say they were not really suppressed. We know what really happened with the companies, access to finance as well.
I do agree. Yeah, I do agree.
Is that also
that is the reaction?
A modicum, or maybe, yeah.
I agree with you 100%. For every action, there is a reaction. And so the action has to be above the reaction for the movement to continue. But if the reaction becomes above the action, then you actually see what we are seeing. Because the reaction from the government, when now we got the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga meeting with Ruto, their power overpowered the action from the Gen Zs. And so the Gen Zs then dissipated and disappeared. And so if the Gen Zs want to continue, and I think there's a rebirth of that, we've seen the youthful leaders, the Babu Winos, the Sifunas and the likes. As much as they are rebels, I do not agree with them. But they are trying to recreate the Gen Z thing because they realize the Gen Zs never went above what they expected. The Gen Z dissipated before they actually crossed the canal.
So there's a space they want to capitalize on.
They want to capitalize. They want actually to bring up... To
build up political capital out of it.
Yeah, they want to bring political capital. I do not agree with them. I do not agree with them because if you look at them critically, you will actually see the old order in them. They are actually a product of the old order. It's only that they realized there was a moment that they needed to have captured, which they didn't. So I think for a proper Gen Z movement to start again, for a proper youthful appraisal to start again, it should not start from the politicians that are sitting now. It will start from those that are in the streets, just like we saw during the 2024 finance bill. That is the only way. And they should then continue beyond the reaction, because the reaction will definitely be there. That is what you call suppression. But of course, it's going to be a reaction. Even when Mau Mau were fighting, they did not fight from the streets. They had to go to the forest so that they would tactically hit the Europeans, the white people, until they disappeared. If they decided to come and join forces with the rulers then, we will still be under the colonial rule. So the Gen Zs, the youthful people, anybody that wants to break the ceiling, do not expect it to be given on silver platter. It's going to be a fight, and they should be ready to fight to the end.
Yeah, we could say that we saw the rise of the outsiders, but let me just go to some of the feedbacks. We'll be discussing the rise of outsiders with the Gen Zs who are not part of the political establishment of the day. So I just want to get some feedback from you. That we had posted a question before, and we had Brian on Facebook here in Nairobi saying, honestly, vijana are only remembered during campaigns. Right now, they're discussing positions, not jobs for the youth. That's Brian. Let's see who is up next. And we have Mercy from Nakuru. She says, I feel youth should be part of these talks because we are the majority voters. But viongozi wanapigania seats instead of opportunities for us. Mercy from Nakuru. Also, we have Kevin from Eldoret. Politics in Kenya is always about power sharing. Youth only come in when they need numbers during elections. We have also Faith from Mombasa. Instead of arguing about who becomes running mate in 2027, they should talk about unemployment among the youth, right? Issue of employment rising, and featuring prominently as well from this conversation. Dennis Kisumu, he's saying, if this coalition is serious, they should include youth leaders in decision-making, not just senior politicians. Also, we do have Sharon from Kiambu. Many young people feel disconnected from these talks. It sounds like politics for leaders, not solutions for the youth. All right, that's from Facebook also. Remember, we encourage you to send your voice notes as well so that we can also listen in. It's all about audiovisual. So we have the voice note that is coming up right now. And this is from, wait for it. I'm loading it up for you.
Cave with Dibal, Inia and Ann Odida. My name is Daniel Bailey, a student of laws at Kenyatta University. As UDA and ODM discuss the 2027 running mate slot, the hard truth is that the youths are being placed in the engine room of the campaign, while the cockpit, meaning the running mate position, remains reserved for senior regional kingpins. At the moment, this discussion don't seriously place a young person in the deputy president conversation. Instead, youth are mainly seen as the mobilization force and are groomed for opposition at the legislative and the county levels. If you are serious about the future of this country, young people must not only power campaigns but also considered for the top executive leadership. Thank you.
Morning, Kef with Fred Indimuli and Anno Dida. I'm Janet, Kenya. I'm watching from Nakuru County. I really wish to say this. Those people who are at the front line in the making of coalition of UDA and ODM faction of Linda Ground, the people at the front line are not even the young people. So here it's not even about where do they fit in. It's about them fighting for their spaces in this coalition so that they can get their rightful spaces and the rightful recognition. And therefore, nothing will come on a slave of platter. Thank you.
Right. Those are the voices. Those are the voices. An issue of unemployment and being used just to add on the numbers really come into play. Before you even ask the next question, about these reactions, these are very key.
They are very
issues
key.
that you should be considering. Even as you're planning yourselves, you as politicians,
yes,
in the next phase of, of government and your political life as well. So how will they really be considered?
You know about what the young people are saying is actually what is the truth. And we say statistics don't lie. When you look at the population of Kenya, it is very evident that they are the majority. And being the majority and having no space on that table where decisions are being made is being unfair to them. So I totally agree with them that it's not just the broad-based government. I think in every party, in every arrangement where we are discussing politics, I think it will make a lot of sense if you have their space. Because the Kenya we are talking about, the Kenya of the future.
Yes.
I always give this example where I say, today we start discussing the Kenya of 2080 or 2070.
2080.
I mean, we are now 2022.
Yeah.
If we now talk about the Kenya of 2070, that's in another how many years?
I was just wondering if I'll be with my good Lord.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you.
Yeah.
So you realize that the people who might be there to see that Kenya,
yes,
more likely it's not the people who are seated in this room, maybe the young people are on the screen the other side. So if that Kenya, they will be there to see that Kenya, I think it makes a lot of sense for them to start preparing that Kenya of 2080 so that they know the steps being taken to prepare that Kenya of 2080. Otherwise, what will happen is now, it will come and they will be added a country where they don't know even how it was structured. So it makes a lot of sense, and I agree with them that those of us who are in the positions of leadership,
yes,
it would be important to create some space for them. And that should happen in the ODM, in UDA, in Wiper where I am. And basically it's like more of thinking about a succession planning, you know you're about to exit. So once you exit, who takes over from you? And if you go that direction, then you secure the future. And I like what you were saying earlier, with what happened in 2027, they seem to have retreated. They were very aggressive, very vocal. So I don't know that the retreating is a strategy.
Yes.
Or they got scared.
That's what I'm saying.
The worst would be if they got scared.
Is there a trauma that needs to be healed?
Basically, that could be the issue that, and even you and me as parents, I don't think there's any parent who would want their kid or their son or their daughter see them die by either being shot. So if you're a parent, you would want to plead with your young one, even if they are what age, and tell them anything can happen by death. is something I cannot accommodate. And with family planning, you know, most of them have only 1 or 2 kids. I'm sure none of us here has 10. So it's you plead with them, you know.
I'll be sure.
You know,
okay,
gotcha. You say, you know, you are my only son. I have no other son. It could be. It's appealing, you know. When I
spread around.
Yeah, when I tell my son, you know, you are the only son, and you are the only daughter.
Yes.
Now, if anything happens to you, I will be left. You see. So you can listen to it, and then so they can retreat because of what they saw. So I think let's create space for them. Let's expand our democracy so that you can go out there.
Yeah, it is good.
Express yourself.
It's good for you to say. But what are you doing, even as a Wiper party? We'd love to know what Wiper party is doing. No, but we can come here and talk broadly, on a broad brush stroke about, we can hear their voices. This is what.
If you come to Wiper party,
we want to know as a party, what have you done?
We have a very vibrant young Wiper Democrats, very vibrant, where we have a whole wing, just as we have a women wing of the party. And I can tell you for sure, if you look even at Wiper as a party, we do involve the young people a lot.
Yeah, you're talking about, we do. Even I think UDA as a wing for youth, for ODM has, by the way, and that is where they actually just remain. We're talking about how then do you rise up within the party structure for you to gain and get a seat at the end of the day. Because you can talk about, we're doing vibrantly, we have the wings, we give this money dedicated to that, but even that money does not trickle down to these parties.
By the way, what we have done as a party, if you come to our National Executive Council, you find we have quite a number of young people who sit in that council. And you know that's the highest decision-making body in any party before you go to the General Assembly. So if you accommodate them at that level, then they will start knowing how.
Who do we have in that executive level? Who is a youthful face?
Well, by the way, we have several. We have a young man who is representing the disabled ones. We have a young person who represents the young. He came. I can't remember the name, but we have about 3 people who are very young, less than 30 years.
So of course, this is a special interest group that has it, but you can see you can only pick 2, you know, because we have our representation from the people.
But you know,
and the youthful face, which is a requirement at the end of the day. But beyond that,
but you know, Dibao, if you get about 3 people in a National Executive Council, because that's a council, it has a representation of the young people, the politicians, the old people. Getting 3 slots, it's not a mean achievement.
So there are 3 slots.
Yeah, there are actually 3 slots.
Let's say from Titus.
Dibal, I think we have 2 strategies in this country. One, the one that is being created by the young people themselves, and 2, the one that has been created by the system. Listening to what the young people have said is a sad reality of the Kenyan politics. For me, these aspects of let's create something for the young people does not need to be here. The young people need to create something for themselves. And they have failed to create something for themselves because even now when they are given the opportunity to actually register as voters, they do not want, because at the ballot is when they can be able to speak and speak with finality. 2, unfortunately, the wing that is talking about, every party has got a youth wing. Yeah. That youth wing is basically a political mechanism, not to empower the youth, but to bring these old people into power. They are the mechanism. They are the people that are on the ground to mobilize other youths to vote for the old people.
Akin to Kano youth wingers.
Yes, to vote for the old people. Tax. And the young people accept. For me, it's crap. For me, it is important that the youth just decide not to be in these parties as political mechanism, as political vehicles for the old people. They just need to say no. Let us give Article 55 of the Constitution effect. Because if you look at Article 55 of the Constitution, it actually says that the youths are supposed to be brought into the political leadership. But how it is supposed to, they talk about nomination, we can nominate, and it is not very definitive about how the youths are supposed to be brought in. It is not giving a figure. If you look at the women, for example, the women have actually been given position of the women rep. And it is supposed to be to bring the women into leadership so that after 15 years, they can actually go into elective politics. The youth have been left what Article 55 talks about? It talks about nothing. It's actually crap. It just says the youth are supposed to be brought into development. They are supposed to be given the funds. For example, the procurement, 30% of the procurement.
The affirmative action.
Youth, the affirmative action. But in terms of bringing them to a political seat, it is not there. They are just saying the parties are supposed to appoint.
Even the funding.
The leaders.
With a special interest group within the parties. Right, it is very dismal.
The leaders, the elders, people who are beyond the youth as per Article number 260, people above age 35, are the ones that are controlling everything. They are the ones that are making the decision. They are the ones that are supposed to appoint the youth. I think the youth, first of all, need to kill the tragedy of them not registering. And two, it is not about the youth to ask to be given opportunities during discussions. They are saying, in the NADCO report, we are supposed to be brought into discussions. That is crap for me. They need to actually take the voter's card, use the voter's card to elect one of their own, and one of their own is the one that is going to help them break the ceiling. Otherwise, if we do not change the constitution to bring a definition of how to bring the youth, not, they can come in through nominations. It can never work. And the last tragedy.
It's never worked.
And it never worked.
Yes.
Because the people that are controlling the youth are not the youth. And how do you expect them to have the youth in their interest? Right. It is never. The last one. Unfortunately for the youth, again, for the youth that have been given opportunities in this country to become PSS or even nominated in parliament, what we see them doing, they actually mess up completely the face of the youth. They actually destroy the faith that we will have had about the youth. Look at the PSS. I don't want to mention now even the Uhuru's government. The youth that were brought in as PSS. The youth that were brought in during nominations. What can we count on them? Zero. Actually, some of them are actually going to negate the belief that we could have on the youth, that the youth are leaders. They actually go and show the negative part of the youth. And that then makes us, the non-youth, believe that the youth do not have leadership in them. So for the youth that might get to the political position, I ask those youth, please can you be able to show that the youth have the capacity to change this country? If not, we will always hear the youth complaining, they will always lament, and they will never come into a political seat in this country. First, let us give effect into Article number 55. Let us create a position of the youth. Probably we should have youths being represented, just like women are represented through women reps. That is the first one. And two, for those that are elected, please, for the youth that break into a political ceiling, can you be able to show Kenyans that there's substance in the youth, leadership substance, not to come there and start to brag to people on how you are lucky at your age. It is not about your age. It's about the leadership that we want from the youth. In any case, they are the majority, and they are the ones that vote the people who are not the youth.
But you know, Dibal, it's important I weigh in on this and bring in a different perspective to it. Even as Honorable Leto challenges the youth on quite a number of issues, I think we also need to appreciate there are quite a number of handles for the youth to ascend to power. And this is informed by the reality of our politics. You know what is happening in Kenyan politics is money has become a very central factor into our politics. That for you to be elected, you require a lot of resources. And with the current situation of unemployment, people who have finished university, are out there 10 years, you have no job, 5 years, you have no, and even if you have a job, it's not even paying. So, and then you combine that with the need for resources to campaign, those are serious handles. So in addition to what he's saying, I think it's also important that we have a deliberate move, very deliberate strategy to bring the youth into leadership. How can that be done? It can be done through what he's calling nomination. That's one way of bringing
the party structure.
To the party structure.
To support the youthful
to support the youth, so that by nominating them, then you start mentoring them for leadership. Because you know now, if you say they craft their own way into the leadership, it might take a lot of time because of the factors I've explained. But in a situation where we say, let's identify through the party structures, some very deliberate moves to bring the youth into the leadership. And once they come in, as he's saying, because the reason they are not performing as expected is because they have not gone through a proper mentorship program. So that when they come in, they are mentored in a very structured manner to become leaders. Because mentorship is important. Otherwise, if you just say, let them come, they attempted to come through Gen Z.
Yeah, but what mentorship programs then do you have as a party?
What I mean is...
Yeah, I know. Can we...
No, normally what happens is like now, for example, when I decided to become a politician, the first move you do is you join somebody's political campaign team. You have to identify Ndibao has been a politician. What I'll do, I can now this time support him by joining the political team, campaign team. In that case, then you start picking the beats in terms of how to campaign and how to organize yourself. Once they are actually nominated to political parties, because they're always with the politicians, they attend meetings with politicians, they see how political activities have been carried out. That's a serious mentorship. You could also be having programs like training programs where you could discuss with them what are the merits and demerits of being a politician. That's mentorship. But if you say on their own they come and fight to get to the politics, they will be very meaningful.
But let's talk about this slot that has come to the Executive Council.
Yes.
Because now you've seen the potential,
yes.
Or is it maybe tokenism that they have to fill in the Executive Council?
No,
are they really poised now to become leaders? Because for you now to actually rise to Executive Council, it means the party leaders or the party honchos have seen that there's something credible inside you. Right? Aside from the tokenism that we have to fill in and show face that truly as a party also we are inclusive, there is something.
Yeah, normally what happens...
Why don't we see these faces also really getting these tickets?
Actually, what happens normally, the way you find yourself into that table is being very active in party activities. You know, like a youth, you can say, I'll volunteer my services to be part of the party activity. You see?
Yeah, that is given. That is what
with
we
that,
established.
they find themselves.
But is that the ceiling?
Yeah. No, once they're on the table now, normally what happens is, because in NEC meetings, that's the highest decision-making body in a party. So normally it will be chaired by the party leader. So that's how I'm saying now that's why you start on mentoring the young ones, because they are sitting there, they're seeing how decisions are being made, and now decisions are being rolled down to the grassroots. So they start picking leadership skills. At the same time, you know, in every party, when it comes to now election time, there's the nominating list, you know, the nomination list, which is taken to the register of political parties. And actually the marginalized groups, the young people, they're also part of that list. So what would happen, and that's what I was saying now, and the deliberate move to ensure that now in your list, you start now nominating those who are not able to get their position through an election. They can now be nominated through the nomination list to join parliament, join the counter assemblies, or join Senate. In that case, then somebody can come one term through nomination, and they'll have picked the ropes of how to do elections, and then they can go and contest. And actually, that's the best example. So that you'll have created some room for them to start them off.
Okay.
And then they can.
Okay. I will come, and I want to ask both of you, because now Wiper Party and the UDA Party. UDA Party, you get the largest lion's share from the exchequer when it comes to, you know, the 0.3% that really comes from the exchequer. How much of this, can you tell us today, goes to the special interest group from that particular lion's share, both for Wiper Party and your party? Are you privy to it?
Well, I am not privy to what goes to the youth. But what I'm sure is that what comes to the party is for party affairs. Management of the party affairs. It's not money that comes, then it's distributed to categories of people.
But we hear about trainings. I wonder what share of trainings really goes. That is from that particular share that will be allocated. That's what we're saying. Because there's been reports. We've had, I think, the Center for Multi-Party Democracy coming up with reports. We've had Professor, he eludes my mind right now, but he came up with actually a very good analysis on how also the share of this money is distributed. And it seems there is nothing that trickle down to the Amukoa, Professor Amukoa, Anangwe, right? Came up with a very good, robust report on that as well. And it was very, very, very disheartening to see no amount is going to the special interest groups. It seems that there is no affairs for the youthful people that is being considered or given much premium of attention within your party, especially for this money, then how do we spend this money? What do we spend this money for?
My analysis will remain.
Because these are taxpayers' monies. I mean, they need to know at the end of the day.
As long as the parties are not run by the youth, as long as the country is not run by the youth, you do not expect the youth to be given anything. I'll tell you, and I'll say again, the youth can never, from the provision of the articles in the Constitution and from the management of affairs in this country, the youth do not have anything but themselves to blame. If the youth today decides...
It would be unfair for you, Titus.
No,
because we have the structures of a party.
It's not unfair. Let me say it. Let me say it.
Well crafted that the youthful faces will never come to know about the intrigues of his finances at the end of the day.
No, let me say. Actually, it is important to say the truth because it hurts, but it's important. If the youth today decides to register as voters and vote for their own, I'm telling you, there is nobody that is going to stop them. But the youth have actually given the power to the non-youth to be able to manage their affairs. So what you are asking me is, how much of the goodwill of the non-youth is there to give to the youth? So within the party, every party, not UDA, not ODM, not Wiper, not anything, every party in this country, tell me any of the party that is controlled by the youth. Tell me. It is not there. And so it is the youth to break the ceiling and have their own seat. When they have their own seat is when the youth can be able to say they can benefit.
Let's look at the impediment that is there. Because according to the Political Parties Act, you cannot register a party as a youthful party.
You can't.
You can't, isn't it? So that's what locks you out completely.
You cannot be mainstreamed.
Yeah, it has to be mainstreamed. You have the women, you have, I mean, every face of Kenya has to be included there. So from a legislative perspective, when we say, now, why can the youth also gun up themselves and register a party? Of course, they can't do that as it is. They have to come through the established parties or even forming up their parties. All these hierarchies has to be there. And this is where their voices will be snuffed out at the end of the day. So you see, from a legislative framework, it cannot work out totally.
But does it bar them from registering a party that has majority of the youth? The hierarchy can be there, but the majority can be the youth. They have not been barred from doing that. And if they do that, then they can be able to ascend into power.
But I think about the question you're asking is quite important. The question of how much of the resources the parties get from the government are directed to the youth programs. And I think the Center for Multi-Party Democracy have actually programs which are organized for specific groups, and they train them. In my party...
But you do not sponsor this.
The
sponsors of these parties are actually, some institutions
that's where I'm coming. Yes. What I'm saying is the Center for Multi-Party Democracy, they have very well-structured programs for the youth, for the women, and even for the disabled. What happens is the political parties have left the sponsorship to donors. But that does not mean that the political parties can set aside resources to say, now we want the youth who believe in the Wiper Party to be taken to our place and be trained on youth programs. It doesn't stop it from there. So what the center says is, we have the programs, the training programs, but we are the only people who are sponsoring them. How they wish that the parties could now directly part of their resources. Say, in this budget this year, we are going to spend 10 million on youth programs, so that they can call now the Center for Multi-Party Democracy, who have tailored programs for the youth to come and train. That will actually change the scenario. Otherwise, what is happening, the money we get as political parties, most political parties are also financially struggling. So you find most of the money goes to paying salaries, another amount goes to paying for offices, and then the general operational issues. And not much goes to capacity building. I think what you are telling us is maybe it's time we started discussing with our political parties how much we could actually specifically set aside budgets for the youth, for the women, and for the disabled.
So how are they struggling? Maybe looking at the tier, you want to tell me UDA is struggling?
No, UDA.
Coming second is ODM.
ODM, and then that is us.
You're actually taking the majority share of the exchequer money.
Actually, out of that money...
These are running into billions.
I'm telling you, out of
beginning, yes?
Yeah, like last year, this year we are in now, we allocated 1.4 billion.
1.4 billion
for political parties.
So
last year was 800.
Can you give us a ballpark figure then of the operational cost?
About 800 million. I'm telling you, I mean,
800
no, I mean last year, the total budget. But not for the political parties. But it would be interesting to look at the audit. You know, the audit in general audits these parties every year. It would be interesting to look at when you look at the audit reports, money was mostly is payment of offices, salaries, and the normal operational. Very minimal for capacity building. So I think what we are saying is we take up the challenge and create allow more resources to go to capacity building, targeting youth programs, women programs, and the general programs which build the capacity of young people to take over.
So in agreement that something has to be done with that particular figure.
I'm in agreement.
Yeah, because when we're talking about 1.4 billion shillings,
in agreement.
We do not know how much is really going. Even you, Lote, you have no sorting idea how much really goes to UDA. Yet you take, how much does UDA, from the exchequer, from the 0.03 get as far as the largest share, you as now the leading party?
I'm not privy to that information, but I know UDA take the lion's share. And if you allow me to say something about this funding in terms of how it's going to develop the youth, for me, I think Kenya is a country that is well capacitated in terms of the human resources, including our youth. We've got people with PhDs, we've got doctors actually out in the streets with nothing. So we do not need to have this money going to capacity building. Basically what we need to do, if the parties have got the goodwill, what the parties need to do is to identify a youth that needs to run in an elective position and give them the money to run in this. Because in this country, unfortunately, you have to have money to run in a political seat for an elective position. That is what the youths are lacking. They're lacking money to run. They have the ideas, they do not even need the capacity. In fact, if you put a youthful leader and probably a leader that is not youthful into a forum, you might realize that the youthful people have got more capacity in terms of their thinking. Basically, they're lacking funding. So for me, I will say, if parties are actually willing, and that is the willingness of the parties, to instead of using this money to say, let's take the youth to a hall and do what capacity building is, let us give them the money for them to go and run into in a political seat. That way, I will say parties are waking up and they want to empower the youth. Otherwise, these seminar things, these exposure things will not help the youth. Give them the money. Give them the money. Tell them, we have identified you as our leader. Indeed. We want you to run in this political seat, be it an MCA, be it a governor, senator, women rep, or MP, and we're going to give you 10 million, 20 million to run in this seat. If we do that, if I see a party that does that, that is the party that I will know will really want to empower the youth.
At the end of the day, true. That's what we are discussing. Yeah, instead of saying, oh yeah, mentorship, why can't you see there is something in this young man, something in this young woman, and support him, financially. Even when we talk about women, this has been also the greatest
we totally agree.
Predicament that is really happening within political parties. They are suppressed, they are not really empowered, and they are slighted. And all that you give is just affirmative actions, and the nomination sits, right? Why can't you support?
No, that's true. By the way,
and is also maybe discouraging or disheartening that we didn't have Dr. Christine Mbaka here to just give us that perspective.
And she would even have talked more about, that like the UN women.
Yes.
They are actually financing arrangement for women candidates, where they support them financially.
Within the parties?
No, not within the parties, through their own structure.
Okay.
So you are just saying, we wish the parties are that rich to also do the same. But as you are saying, majority of the parties are also not struggling. Like, I've been in a party for quite some time. Very few parties would have the financial muscle to support candidates. But I wish we were in that state. Because the other option in Dibao would be allocating also resources, not through the parties now, national resources, and say, if you can justify that you are really a serious candidate, why don't we make resources? Because we have refused to enact the law on campaign financing, which would restrict it to a level where anybody could be able to enter politics. Why don't we do the other round, where we find resources? If Dibao wants to be a politician, he can come and access those resources.
But isn't that by design? Isn't that by design?
I think it's by design. Totally agree with you.
So that we lock out people.
Totally. It's by design.
If you don't have the wherewithal, Lotte, then it means you can't be running for any political seat.
Exactly.
And people have been questioning, who said that you need like billions of shillings for you to run as a president.
Why? Why should you?
Where did it really come from? Does it really matter that you have that financial muscle for you? Because I think it is an eye-popping figure to discourage many that I cannot really, afford that particular amount of money to run for presidency. But where did it come from?
I want to give you...
Where did it come from? Where this particular figure, first of all? We have so many figures that are being, thrown about. Where did this figure really come from? Who?
But it comes, I think this figure comes from experience. And there is no politics world over that does not run on money.
We agree.
Yes.
Yeah, we agree. Yes.
Yeah.
I know the campaign machinery is very expensive. But putting it at 5 billion shillings. Are there other candidates in this world that have, they didn't have, maybe they have wherewithal, but we saw the committee coming and rallying.
Let me tell you.
Barack Obama, you mentioned, was it you as well?
Let me tell you what is happening. When we were in Naivasha, January, as a parliament, and Leto was there and I was there, we did agree that one of the priority bills would be passing would be the campaign financing bill. Up to now, we have passed so many bills through the House, that one has not even been presented. And basically because of what you are saying, because, once you control the financing, you open the floor for many people to join.
Indeed.
And that's why people don't want the financing to be capped. Because, once you cap it, that means for you to go above it, you must provide accountability. And to me, I think really this is an area, if we really want to open this space for more people to come in, let's finalize this bill. And say that for you to go for an MCR seat, you only need 300,000 for logistics. If you go that direction, then many people will be able to come. But people don't want to do that because they want to take advantage and then say you spend 10 million and you scare other people away. Let's cap this thing.
Personally, I think that is not tenable. Whether this bill...
Why should it not be tenable? It's all about the other...
Whether this bill is enacted or not, it is not going to work. Let me tell you, those are the moribund bills that will never work in this country. I'm actually saying the truth, because if you're spending up to 300,000, and then at night, even the bills that came, that you're not supposed to politic until a particular period of time.
Yeah.
And at that time, people come of age and they become chameleons and they change color. So it's like, we are going for a burial. And it's not a burial, it's actually a political rally. So people will always find a way out, because if you spend up to your 300,000 that has been capped probably by Parliament, at night, your agents will be spending money. That will not be directly onto you, it will be through your agents, but still expenditure will be there. Basically, this is a competition. And in a competition, you have to use every means available to you to ensure that you win. The 5 billion thing, or the 10 billion thing, or the 1 billion thing to run for presidency still is there. I actually heard Sifuna saying, it's not about money, you can vote me. Not in this country. Not anywhere in the globe. Even when Obama was running, I was in the US then. I sat in a small cocoon of people during and we were contributing money for Obama's campaign. $10, $5 as students. I was a student then. It basically tells you, even in any country in the world, you have to have money to be able to finance your campaign. And a token-centric campaign like this of Kenya, where you have to token people, you have to give out something to people. People in this country, as much as how good you can be, if you do not give them money, I'm telling you, they will vote for a pig that gives them money. So, because of the lessons of that, who doesn't want to become a leader? Do you want a pig to become a leader, yet you have got the money also to spend? I'll tell you, whether they do this bill or not, that bill is going to be moribund. People will always find a way out. People are going to spend on campaigns.
Interesting. So it will never fly. Okay, let's see the reactions that are coming on the social media, the voices of the youth as well. And we have Alan from Nyeri. Vijana ndio wengi Kenya, but bado hatuna nafasi kwa leadership discussions. That should change. This is the sentiment of Alan there. And also we do have Rose from Machakos. Leaders should first focus on education, business opportunities and innovation for youth before discussing 2027 seats. And we do have Peter from Thika. Kenyan youth are tired of political promises. We want policies that support jobs and entrepreneurship. And we do have as well Linda from Kakamega, right? Until youth voices are included in these talks, it will remain just another political deal. That's Linda. All right, let's get some voice notes as well and videos just to have the look and feel on listening.
Morning, Cafe with friend Demuli and Ann Odida. As of today's question on the youth's support on the general election as of next year between the UDA and ODM broad-based government, I am of the faction of two-term on broad-based government. I support the president because of his commitment to the youths. You have seen your program, you have seen Hustler Fund, and the PS of MSMEs continues to assure us that the government of His Excellency William Samoei Ruto is making sure that the youth are employed. Thank you very much, and I can just say,
Good morning, Cafe with Dibala Ilaya and Ann Odido. As conversations continue within parties like UDA and ODM around the running mate slot come 2027, many young Kenyans are asking a simple question: where do we fit? For a long time, youth have been used as mobilizers during campaigns and voters during elections. But the generation of today is informed, more engaged, and ready for leadership. Therefore, the conversation for 2027 should be beyond just positions and start creating genuine spaces for youth leadership in decision-making and governance. Because ultimately, Kenya's future will be shaped by a generation that is prepared to lead.
Good morning, Anne. My name is Njamio Blanche from Mongata Rongai, watching the Morning Cafe from Mongata Rongai. I am a youth leader, and my take on today's topic is that as the UDA party and the ODM party discuss the 2027 running mate slot, I'm really wondering where we the youth stand in this conversation of basically where do we fit in this conversation. Remember, we form the largest percentage in Kenya's population, yet at this time and era, we still feel neglected and excluded on matters, top leadership and important decision making in this country. It is important our leaders, as they negotiate power sharing, alliances and even shares, youth are not just used for numbers in terms of votes and as campaign mobilizers. They need to be given opportunities in policy making, leadership opportunities, and even real economic empowerment. Remember, the future of this nation is the youths, and our ideas, our voices, aspirations must be included in shaping Kenya's political direction beyond 2027. Thank you.
Asante sana. Coming from, of course, the reactions there, they've spoken loudly and clear. So let's just begin giving closing remarks. I can see it's ticking up to 8 o'clock. Let's begin with you, Titus.
Well, I think it's important that we discuss the youth as we are discussing now. But it is important that the youth also take action, because we've been discussing the youth since. I remember when we were growing up, and I remember even before we grew up, we found in books, they say that the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. Tomorrow will never, ever arrive until the youth take action. One of the actions the youth need to take, they need to register as voters. That is the first thing. The apathy that the youth have and that they cannot vote basically tells you that the youth are not ready to take up leadership. First, they need to register as voters. Two, they need to vote. And when they vote, let them not vote because of their monies. Let them not think that there is any other person that is going to solve their youth problem. It is them to solve the problem. So if there is a youthful leader that is thinking youthful, that want to help the youth, that is the person they need to vote for, not the person that's got money. Because the person that got money is not definitely the youth. The person that has got money is the person that has been in the system for some time. So the youth need to take action by themselves. They are the ones that are supposed to take their destiny into their hands. If the youth are still waiting for the non-youth to help them, to bring them through nomination, to actually help them to come to a discussion table, that is a verse. They will wait forever.
Thank you. Thank you. Right. Dr.
Dibao, I think all is not lost, and I would really want to encourage our young people to do what Honorable Leto has advised. The recent by-elections were not very good in terms of the way they conducted their business, were not very good for them, because after analyzing the results, we discovered they didn't come out to vote. So I think the whole issue is, even if we talk about leadership, youth and leadership, it's important that the youth realize they need to be proactive, not reactive. Proactive means you go out of your way, you register, and prepare yourself that day of voting. You also go out and vote. Otherwise, unless you do it that way, then whatever we are doing just remain discussions, and nothing really. So if you really want to help them, let them go out there, and they have one strength, which they are not taking advantage of, the numbers. Let the youth take advantage of the numbers, and they will go far.
All right, take advantage of the numbers. That is what we hear from our panelists as well, talking a good game about the youth and the demographic figure that is very vital and consequential in our political dynamics here in the country. So it is up to you at the end of the day. Tomorrow is a mirage. Tomorrow is now, right? Take your vote, register as a voter for you to become very consequential when you're casting that particular vote for 2027. Martin Nomla said, yeah, they came for the socialist, but I was not the socialist, right? When they came for the trade unionist, right? I did not speak up because I was not a trade unionist. When they came for the Jews, I did not speak up because I was not a Jew. And then when they came for me, there was no one to speak up for me because I was not speaking. Are you speaking, right? This is your time for you to cast your vote. Thank you very much for your valid company. I can see Kotela Maisi and Freda Rocho and Duncan. Of course, Mutua standing by. Money Blitz is coming up next, firing on all cylinders. Don't go away.